When you think about 80s anime, you will often think about action series and manly man characters that punch first and don't even bother asking questions later. We're talking blood-pumping action series that really get you excited. Cool guys like Cobra, Captain Harlock, and many more. And that is exactly the theme for today's recommendation. Because today, I'm going to be recommending a movie that lives and dies by the rule of cool. Today, I'm going to be talking about the 1980s movie, Golgo 13, The Professional. Alright, so Golgo 13 The Professional is an action movie from 1983 that lasts for roughly 1 hour and 30 minutes. It was produced by Studio TMS and directed by the legendary Osamu Dezaki, who has directed great anime like Ashita no Joe and Space Cobra. And of course, the manliest of all movies, the Clannad movie. Anyways, Golgo 13 The Professional is based on a seinen manga written by Takao Saito named Golgo 13 that started back in 1968 and is still going to this day, with over 200 volumes and over 600 chapters amassed so far. In the story of Golgo 13 The Professional, we follow Duke Togo, codenamed Golgo 13, a professional killer for hire. He has been tasked with assassinating the heir to Dawson Empires, Robert Dawson, the son of oil baron Leonard Dawson. The hit is successful, and Golgo goes on to take other jobs, like the hit on Dr. C, a powerful crime boss in Sicily. But suddenly, Golgo finds himself under attack from the US military, the CIA, the FBI, and Pentagon. Even genetically enhanced super soldiers are sent to kill him and his contacts. It turns out that it is Leonard Dawson, the very oil baron whose son he killed, who is hiring these killers so that he can get revenge on Golgo for killing his son. But as time passes and the assassination attempts keep failing, Dawson slowly starts losing his mind, getting more and more desperate in his attempts to kill Golgo, which leads him to become a danger to those around him, including his own family. If Golgo wants to stay alive, he's gonna have to track down Leonard and kill him first. But also take out all the killers that are after him first. Alright, so there really is only one way to explain what you will get out of Golgo 13, The Professional. Cheesy as hell 80s action by a badass manly man with no emotions or personality. Like seriously, not even the sex scenes in this movie has Golgo so much as change his facial expression. Man is cold as ice, but all the women in this movie sure seem to love it. And while I wouldn't say that Golgo is a very good character in this movie, his lack of emotions does make him a bit of an unintentionally funny character. Add to that some impossible sniper shots and cool guys don't look at explosions type of scenes, and you're in for a good time. At least if you like cheesy 80s action movies. But while Golgo might not have much in terms of personality, the villains sure do. Although their quote-unquote personalities can mostly be explained as them being batshit insane. In the case of Leonard Dawson, the rich oil baron who wants Golgo killed, that makes sense. He is a shady guy who is gripped by a need for revenge, and as he grows more and more impatient due to all the failed attempts at Golgo's life, he even starts putting his own family in danger. Like for example when he hires the killer Snake. In order to get his cooperation, he traps Laura, his deceased son's wife, in the same room as Snake, who then proceeds to rape her. Leonard also sends his own granddaughter, Emily, together with their butler to kill Golgo at an airport. So at least they managed to build up Leonard as a bad guy, somewhat. Though they could have done a better job with the rest of his family, as they mostly feel like fodder characters. And while the stuff that happens to them is grim, it doesn't really mean much in the end. The killers, on the other hand, are not so much well-crafted villains as they are more like insane bad guys because they are insane bad guys and therefore a threat. We already mentioned Snake, who is a genetically altered assassin who has got more than just a few screws loose. But he mostly gets treated as insane because he's a bad guy and a threat because he's insane and genetically altered. But once we get past that, there really isn't much to him in this movie. We also have some other murderers join in on the hunt, like the death row sentenced Gold and Silver, two notorious murderers who were part of a covert government operation where they wanted to test mercenary survival rates in the jungles of South America. So quite the gifted killers. But again, apart from a somewhat cool action scene at the end involving them and Golgo, there isn't much to get from them either. But with all that said, the fun of Golgo 13 The Professional is in the insanity as well as the over-the-top action. It's not the most well-written movie, nor does it have the best animation, but what it does have is a lot of action. People die left, right, and center, and Golgo, the stereotypical cold badass, can kill his enemies in a variety of ways, whether it be taking them out with a sniper from a distance, or having them eat a grenade. Golgo has all the tricks, and he will survive anything from assassins to mercenaries, and even bad CG. Nothing can kill this man. The most stone-faced, ice-cold, professional killer for hire we're ever likely to see in an anime. And that, in my opinion, is why this movie is worth watching. Because despite all its flaws, of which there are many, you can expect to be thoroughly entertained. At least as long as you're okay with over-the-top violence and 80s-style action movie cheese. If that is not your cup of tea, however, then this is definitely a movie you can skip. So to end things off, I'm gonna go through some fun facts about Golgo 13. The first of which is directly related to this movie. You see, Golgo 13 the Professional is one of the first anime to have incorporated CGI animation. This is most notable during the fight in Dawson Tower, where we are suddenly treated to a fully CG scene involving an attack helicopter. It's not the most visually impressive thing and sticks out like a sore thumb from the 2D animation, but it's still a bit cool looking back at it now, considering that this movie came out in 1983. Koichi Omura and Satomi Mikuriya at Toyo Lynx were responsible for the CG in this movie. So these are the people you can thank for setting the precedent for CG in anime. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave up to you to decide for yourself. Another fun fact is in relation to the manga, because like mentioned earlier, this manga has been going on for a long time, with over 200 volumes. And even though author Takao Saito died in 2021, the manga will still be produced by Saito Productions. But that's not all. The Golgo 13 manga is actually either the second or third highest selling manga of all time, with over 300 million volumes sold. The reason why it's either second or third is because we don't know the exact sales numbers. The last numbers we were given were from 2021, and they just said 300 million volumes. Dragon Ball is also estimated to have sold around 300 million volumes, though some sources speculate that it might be higher. So yeah, those were my thoughts on Golgo 13, The Professional. A very 80s action movie. It's definitely not the greatest film out there, but if you're into cheesy 80s action flicks, then this movie has got you covered. Golgo might not offer you much in terms of personality, but he oozes badassness. And what more can you really ask for? Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, then don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more anime related content from me. Peace.